My name is Edward Cook, and the purpose of my speech today is to commemorate the life and the works of Reverend Billy Graham. While many of you may have heard of Billy Graham, you might be surprised to learn some of the little-known facts about his life. Billy Graham was one of the greatest missionaries that has ever lived, and in this speech I will commemorate his life, his ministry, and his legacy. Billy Graham had a very long and eventful life. The Billy Graham website tells us that on November 7th, 1918, at a dairy farm in Charlotte, North Carolina, he was born. And his full name is actually not Billy Graham, but William Franklin Graham Jr., but he decided to go by Billy Graham because he liked it better. He wasn't a strong Christian until he turned 16 years old, and at that point he had an encounter with the Lord and decided to give his life to Christ fully. From there, he went to the Florida Bible Institute, which is now called Trinity College, and after doing that, he continued his education at Wheaton College. While at Wheaton, he pastored at the United Gospel Tabernacle, and he met his wife, Ruth McHugh Bell, and he married her on August 13th, 1943. He pastored the Village Church of Western Springs in Illinois for a short time, but then he moved on to the organization Youth for Christ, which had a mission of ministering to youth and the military. The website Encyclopedia Britannica tells us that he crusaded and evangelized until the year 2005 when he retired. And then, at the age of 99, he died on February 21st, 2018. In Billy Graham's 99 years alive, he did some extraordinary ministry. The website Citizen Times tells us that he, throughout his entire life, had 58 years of ministry, and throughout those 58 years, he did 417 crusades, which were in 185 countries and territories. Throughout his career, he preached physically to 84 million people, and he, through satellite feed, preached to 215 million people. His first crusade was in 1949 in Los Angeles. Which the crusade planned on being 3 weeks long, but because of the extraordinary turnout, it got extended to 8 weeks. Throughout that time, 300,000 people listened to him preach, and 6,000 people were converted. Because of the media coverage of this crusade, he overnight became a household name in America. The second crusade was in London in 1954. And that lasted 12 weeks. And then following that, he had a third crusade in New York, which in 1957, and that lasted 16 weeks. By this time, he was a very well-known evangelist, world-renowned, and a common household name in many places throughout the world. The website, the Billy Graham Library, tells us that his largest crusade ever was in Seoul, South Korea, where in 1973, where 3.2 million people came, and around 75,000 people were converted to Christianity. Billy Graham left behind a rich legacy to be remembered by. For starters, he founded the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association, which continues his ministry to this day and has expanded upon it and become an overall very extraordinary ministry an organization. Throughout Billy Graham's life, he also wrote 36 books, which can be bought and found today, that we can use to remember him and continue his legacy. And he has 5 children, 19 grandchildren, and 44 great-grandchildren that continue his legacy as well. It is claimed, the biggest thing I would say though, is that it's claimed that he preached to more people than any other person alive, which I feel is an extraordinary piece to keep to your legacy. In conclusion, even though Billy Graham's a household name, many people don't know the extent of how much he did throughout his life. He lived a long life, going to 99 years, and He had an extraordinarily amazing ministry that covered 417 crusades in 185 countries and territories. And finally, he has a lasting legacy that continues to this day and will continue far out into the future. Billy Graham was one of the most influential missionaries that ever lived, and he touched more lives than we could ever imagine, and is truly showing the testimony of how one man can make a huge difference. Thank you very much.